Wednesday, December 8th. So we have NWEA tomorrow, which is the first 2 hours. And again, you don't have it again until the end of the year, March, April, May, something like that, 2022. It's the last one of 2021, though. And then after that, we have the shorter half-hour classes or something like that. On your new handout, Home Children, we have a new handout that you can also be able to get from Canvas, or you're more than welcome to get it from me. But this will be the new one. So take a look at new handouty thing. And on new handouty thing, for those of you who are living children, one, you should have hopefully already written name on new handouty thing. And then two, find the one that says evil teacher. And then you might want to circle it or something.
Relevant.
This is what Friday's quiz is going to be about. So Friday's quiz is over this poem. You should recognize it. You've already read the first 2 stanzas. They were on the Similes and Metaphors quiz. So the one that had the kids jumping like popcorn, that's the same poem. This is just the full version of it. I gave you the first 2 stanzas, now we get the second 2 stanzas. So now you're going to have to do things like finding similes and metaphors in the next 2 stanzas, finding alliteration, figurative, literal, idiom, stuff like that. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Friday's quiz is 12 questions, and I think 5 of the questions come from this poem. So I just wanted to give you a heads up so that you're prepared, or show up on Friday and go, what? We had to read a poem! And then we get to make fun of you together. That's all you need the new one for. Then you can put that one away and we're done with that one. That's all. I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that part of it. So done with that handout. The rest of the poems on there we're going to get to next week, so you don't need those yet. On the idiom handouts, so take a look at idiom handouty thing. Backside of it, you should have filled in with notes, because that's what we did yesterday. So you should be good on the nosy bits. This is what you are doing for the actual homework. So as you go through and take a look at it, if you flip your paper over and look at the homeworky side, this is what your homework is going to be. You are going to be going through and finding an idiom that you like this one was, it costs an arm and a leg. Give me the figurative definition, it costs a lot of money. Literal, I paid with a calf and a forearm. Then you draw a picture there, draw a picture there. That's all I'm looking for from you. It just cannot be an idiom that we've already covered. Those of you with questions, we'll get to you in just a moment, and you should be fine. Give me a second. On the actual handouty thing, it's due Monday. So you have through the weekend to work on it, because I want you to make sure you have a chance to use colored pencils or marker, because apparently some of you didn't realize there are these things called directions up there in the top area. So if you've not looked up there in the directioning things, you might want to. Because one, it says you have to have complete sentences, and that's where a lot of people are struggling because they don't know what a subject of a sentence is. So if as an example, have you guys heard of the idiom break a leg? Yeah. What is the figurative definition of break a leg?
Try hard.
Do your best.
Works for me. So if you put the figurative is do your best, there's no subject in that sentence, so you would lose points. A subject is the noun doing the actions. When you say do your best, who are you referring to? So you have to make sure you have some kind of subject in there. So that's what I'm looking for you to be able to do. And then make sure you're writing here and writing there and writing there is all in pen. And then picture-wise, it'll be just colored in with either colored pencils or marker. I would recommend working on it after NWEA tomorrow, because you have the 2 hours. When you get done, then work on this, and then you should be good to go from there. If you use stick figures, that's fine. On the stick figures, just make sure you put clothing on them. Or I had kids ask about being digital, because I have some kids who do the digital drawing on the iPad. If you do that, that's fine with me also. You can do it digital, and then you can print it off and put it on there, or you can do digital, and then you could probably email it to me if you did it all digital. You'd have to do it on the little handouty thing that's on Canvas, but that's fine with me also as far as that one goes. You are turning it in person on Monday. You are going to hand it to me, because then I'm going to pick out the best ones in each class and hanging them in the hallway for all the kids to see. So if you do well on it, you get to be out there. If you don't do well on it, then you just don't do well on it. So I figured I'd help you out from there. Braylon.
Wait. When they say chapters and stuff.
That would be an example of an idiom. Yeah.
So if I did the kitty trailer, do you ever feel like a plastic bag? Would that not work? It's just a question.
Correct. That's not an actual idiom. That's just a Katy Perry lyric. And she is adorable, but doesn't make it an idiom. Allie.
Why does everything have to be written?
Because I want to make it look out. One, it seems to really irritate children. 2, it makes sure kids can follow directions. 3, the most important one, it makes it look really nice when I hang them out there in the hallway. I want to make sure they look really nice when I hang them out there. If you don't want to do it in pen, do it in pencil, and I can guarantee you're just going to go in the hallway, you just don't get a very good grade. What was that one, Chris? You're good to go. Did I answer your question, by the way, Mata and Teresa, because you guys were raising your hands at me a second ago? Okay.
So am I allowed to like search up idioms online?
Absolutely. I also have a list here if that would help. But yeah, Googling idioms is probably the easiest way to go about doing it and make your life easier. But so here's a list of idioms. If you want to see ones up there, like any of these would work that we did not do together in class. My things to help you. 1, if you don't know what an idiom means, don't choose it. If you see chew the fat with someone, if you've never heard of that, don't choose it, because you can't do the figurative if you've never heard of it. Also, if you don't know how to draw it, don't choose it. So if you have fly off the handle and you can't figure out how to draw flying off the handle, don't choose that one. So pick ones that you can figure out how to draw and that you know what they mean. Carrington.
What is chew the fat with someone?
Oh, that means to Google something. That'd be my answer for all of them. If you don't know it, to chew the fat means to talk with someone. It just means to talk. But yeah, it goes back to the old days when Vikings would sit around a fire and they would keep talking until you got down to the bone of like the big piece of meat, and you would just sit there and chew the fat, and it just meant like you're still talking. It's a weird saying. It goes from way back when. All right.
Gristle.
No other idiom questions? All right. You can put the idiom sheet away. We're done with that one. That was my goal. We're going to deal mostly just the one paper. We're only going to pick on 2 people today for this one, so we have a bit more time to try and get through. Tomorrow we'll try to go back to probably only 2 people again, and we'll go from there. I'm assuming, home children, I'm going to pause and I'll come back to you because there's no point you listening to kids do this part. Right back to here. Hey, go those children, they did a good job. Here, poetry learning stuff. Hi, Braylon.
Okay. Can I call you sister?
In about 35 minutes. Again, I have a Simpson sheet you can do if you want to. That's why I keep trying to get you to do it. You keep saying no.
Yes.
Yeah, well, not right now. Now I'm teaching. You had the chance to do that. All right, so back to here. I know we did rhyme scheme with you already, so let's take a look and just run through it real quick to try and help you out, just to make sure it's in your brain. Oh, one of the things you're going to have to do on Friday is the rhyme scheme for that poem I just gave you. So I just figured I'd give you a heads up. One of your questions is going to be rhyme scheme on that poem.
I didn't mean to do that.
It's okay. I don't mean to take it from you.
I didn't mean to
It's
do
okay. I don't. Oh, it's a ring. I can sell it. This can get me to the end of the day.
Oh.
I probably won't sell it by then.
I'll buy it.
I didn't mean to take it from you.
I'll buy it for.
Oh, look at that. They're already trying to buy it. I'm going to make so much money. My kids are going to have to eat tonight. So rhyme scheme is going to be, again, that code that tells us the pattern of rhyming in the poem. As an example on this one, where every other line rhymes, what went back up? What is the first line of every poem? What letter do you give it?
A.
Gives you A.
Smart.
So looking at this first stanza, what would be our rhyme scheme for it?
A.
Then?
B.
Nicely done. So then our second stanza, which has the rhyming, what would it be?
C.
How many C's is that?
And that's 2 C.
And then?
D.
Nicely done. And then if we continue that same pattern into the third stanza, becomes?
E.
And then?
F.
OU. And then if we have a poem that has no rhyming in it at all, the rhyme scheme.
A, B, C,
There
D,
you go.
E, F, G, H.
From there, you'll have to figure out the rhyme scheme for the poem, but I have faith in you figuring it out from there. Harvard? That's some slow moving letters. Then we got to partway through this poem. This poem. Who were our 2 readers we had? Who was my stanza 1 person?
I think it was me.
Works for me. Who's my stanza 2 person?
I am.
There you go. Such authority. So I know we got through stanza 1 with you, so we'll do the speedy version of that, and then we'll jump into
I
that.
was stanza 1.
Were you stanza 1?
No.
I'm stanza 2.
We have another poem coming up in a moment, so we'll give you the first half of that one. I would hate to rob you of your chance to talk, Harrington.
Yes.
All right. Ressa, you ready?
What's up?
That's her new nickname?
No, she just gave me a look.
My body around the stone with a powder of smooth seams. My head a short snake, retractive, projective. My legs come out of their sleeves and shrink within. And so does my chin. My eyelids are closed.
Thank you, Teresa. On this one, as we get a chance to jump back into it from there, Seth, we're going to try and find our first similes and metaphors we did from yesterday again. So the first simile or metaphor we have in here is going to be? Your hint is you should not have to look very far to find it. You should not have to look far at all. Like you really should not have to look far.
My body around its stone?
Nicely done, Seth. That's weird how that just came to you like that. Is that a simile or a metaphor?
Metaphor.
Good job. Comparing what two nouns?
Body and stone.
Did we get to the first stanza with you guys
Yes.
yesterday? Just to make sure. That's when some of my classes get thrown off a little bit. So we're comparing body and stone. Why are we comparing the body to a stone?
Because it's all around.
Well, we could also compare it to a tortilla or a marshmallow.
Yummy.
Those are also round.
It's hard.
There you go. So, how many, without telling us, how many of you guys think you know what the speaker is? Okay. If you think you know, then hopefully you can help give me answers that help guide us there then.
Okay.
And then, and what are seams?
They're like little lines that
There are two
connect.
things, there you go. On those sleeves, there are little lines that connect. So instead of it being like a stone-looking thing like that, it's going to look more like soccer volley from there. And then our Ling, we're going to find our next. I like that row apparently. Simile and or metaphor there would be.
Where?
That was my question. That's what I'm asking Ling. If I told her where it was, it'd take all the fun out of it.
Who's Lee?
Madison. Some people have more than one name. They have a first name and a last name.
I didn't know.
It's okay. It was nice of them to buy you all that extra time, Madison. It's good teamwork. Your hint is, again, you shouldn't have to look very far.
My head a short snake.
Are you asking me? With confidence, Ling.
My head a short snake.
Nicely done, Madison. Simile or metaphor?
Among Us.
Are you asking me?
Simile.
Simile, right? Because what word does it use? Because from the poem I made you memorize, what two words does a simile have to use?
Like your eye.
Good job. Which one does that use? Are you having trouble finding which one? So what does that tell you? It's not a simile. Good job, Madison. I like how that just came to you. So it's not. So what two nouns are being compared?
Head and snake.
Nice one. And so on this one, we have to know what retracts. So to figure out why we're comparing the head to a snake, retractive, projective. What does retractive mean?
Go back.
It
Come
goes
in.
back
Come in
and then
or
go
go
out.
And projective means.
Go forward or go
There
out.
you go. So what can his head do compared to the
Go in
body?
and out.
It goes.
I think that's the scientific word for it. There you go.
I own the thing we're talking about.
And then continuing the poem, what can his legs do?
They can
It
go
can
in and out of the,
of their
the
sleeves.
the body.
It can go out in there.
They can
And
go
so
in and out of the body.
His sheathy body would work for me. And then, we do have one more. Mata, we have one more simile and or metaphor that we're going to find in there.
My legs come out of their sleeves and shrink with it.
I like how you're asking me because I would agree that's probably not one.
Oh, okay. My eyelids are clear.
I would like that one probably a little bit better. Comparing what two nouns?
Eyelids and clamps.
And you know what clamps are?
Those whole thing that goes in kids.
Things that hold shit
The
back.
things that, or
Yeah,
apparently.
you already told us this yesterday.
I know, but apparently
The like
kids.
things
Yeah,
that
they
go on
don't
tables
remember.
too,
What?
like
Slow.
those
So those
things.
again are the clamps, the things that smash together. Apparently, look like little alligator heads. Things like that. Nicely done. So his eyelids can. By the way, I think that's what you guys yesterday. Your eyelids are also clamps because you
Yep.
can take and you can smash things into your eyes.
I held a piece of paper yesterday, and my eyes still hurt.
Try not to paper cut your eyeball. That would probably not be your best takeaway from today. But I'm not one to stop you. Then we're going to get to stanza 2.
Me.
Who is my stanza 2 person?
Me.
Me.
You said I could read it.
It's me.
Stanza 2 person.
Wait,
It's Isaac, actually.
Isaac.
no, wait, you said I could read
In
it.
the next poem.
Oh.
Right. Kids nowadays. Go for it, Isaac.
My back is my roof. I'm always at home. I travel where my house walks. It is a smooth stone. It floats within the lake or rests in the dust. My flesh lives tenderly inside its bones.
Thank you, Isaac. The thing I'm going to be asking for you in a moment is the similes and metaphors, because there's a bunch of them in this one also. My back is my roof. I'm always at home. I travel where my house walks. It is a smooth stone. It floats within the lake or rests in the dust. My flesh lives tenderly inside its bone. Nathan, let's go ahead and jump into finding our similes and metaphors. Where's going to be our first simile and or metaphor? My goal sometimes when I tell you guys ahead of time that I'm ready to have you guys find similes and metaphors, I have a dream that someday when I tell you that, you guys will actually look for them when you read the poem.
I did.
That's a future me issue. What I'm doing right now is babbling for a second to try and buy him time, because he shouldn't have to look very far to find the very first one in there.
My back is my roof.
Nicely done, Nathan. Someday a kid's going to figure out one of these all on their own. Nathan, is that a simile or a metaphor?
It's a metaphor.
Yeah, nicely done. Comparing what two nouns?
Back and roof.
Works for me. Oh, so if we're saying his back is his roof, what does that tell us about the speaker?
He had a roof.
His own.
It's his home. Like, it's like a home. His back is flat.
You're not supposed to yell at him.
So his back is going to be the roof, the thing that goes on top of the housey thing. So it means sort of like the idea of him being homeless in a way, and the fact that wherever he goes, that's where his house is.
He's not homeless.
The line that says, I travel where my house walks. The idea being is that wherever he goes, that's where his house is. He has no home to go
He's an
to.
RV.
He is sort of like in an RV or homeless in a way.
Or he's a nomad.
Nick! You finding the next one?
Yeah.
What's up, Nick? Where's my next one?
It is a smooth stone.
Nicely done. Now, here's my one with the one Nick found, where it says, it is a smooth stone. I'm going to have you figure out the two nouns being compared. The problem is, one of them is easy to find, the other one requires thinking.
I know it.
Nick, do you know the easy one in that metaphor? Of the two nouns? Stone. My question is, what is being compared to a stone? Because you'll usually say it, but it is a pronoun. So you have to tell me what would be the noun that it's referring to. Nick, I'll stick with you if you got it. I'll take it. There's actually a couple answers I'll take. House is one.
Shell.
Shell is another one.
Home.
And then home. And so actually not shell, but back. So it would be house,
Middle-aged mom.
back, house, back. Oh, roof.
Roof.
Any one of the three of those are saying the fact that it is like a stone. So when you say that his back, his roof, his house is a stone, what is that telling us about it?
That it's hard and it's
There you
his
go.
home.
So the fact that it is his house, and it is hard when you tap upon it. And then, this last part where it says, my flesh lives tenderly inside its bone. Do you know what flesh is?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
You like skin?
Well, I'm making sure, the reason
Like me.
being, with our speaker, for you guys, your flesh is not inside your bone. If I were
Well,
to take
some
my
are.
stick, and I were to go over here to Avi, and I were to jab him really hard, I'm going to hit flesh before I get to bone. Even if I stab him really hard, you've got to go through flesh before you get to the bone
So
bits.
it's your skin.
Speaker, the one talking, if I were to stab speaker, you hit bone first, then squishy bits after that. So the opposite of us. We have bone with squishy bits around it. He has squishy bits with bone wrapped around the outside of it. Which brings us to, who is the speaker of the poem?
Turtle. Turtle.
So here's my question for you then.
But its shell is not a bone.
So between crab and turtle, because I've had kids tell me it's a crab and you guys say it's a turtle. So in poem, can you find me evidence to prove whichever one you're trying to go for to prove to me?
Please, Mr. Movie.
I'll be nice to you, Grant. What do you got?
Yeah. Okay, so Let me go back to it.
Okay.
Which one? Where was it? Thank you. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Good teamwork.
So, my head, a short snake, retractive, projective. The crab's head cannot go back and forth. It's on its body.
All right.
And its claws can't go in.
I would accept that as
I was
evidence.
gonna say that.
Braylon, you have more evidence?
Yeah.
What do you got?
One, the crab's turtle does not take it.
You mean the crab shell?
Yeah, the crab's shell, right? The crab's shell, when you stomp on a crab's shell, it's most likely to go back. When you do it to a turtle, the turtle's head is going to be like this.
So you're saying that crab's shell is not as hard as a turtle's?
Yes.
I can follow that. I'm not sure if that fully connects up here, but it's a solid
Yeah,
point.
that's because you eat turtles.
Yeah, you're off topic.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying it's...
I eat crab. It means you break through the shell to get to the meat.
But it's
Some
not in the
people eat
bones,
turtles.
what's
And
going
they
on.
have no bones.
If it exists, people eat
You're,
it. I
you're
don't.
off topic, Braylon.
Teresa, evidence to find that you're going to back it up for turtle or crab.
The crab isn't smooth, and it says a smooth stone. Crabs are kind of like
They are smooth.
As
they kind of
Turtles have
I
ridges.
go back and forth
Turtles
on that
are
one as
smooth
far as
either.
the smooth as I could see that working for the crab. I see
But
you're
turtles
going
have
with it.
ridges.
Now there is a thing that talks about the shell that's in there that would not work so much for the crab, but it was not the smooth part.
the pattern.
That I would accept as the evidence. The fact that the turtle has that pattern like a soccer ball on it, where the crab does not, except for this weird one I found there. But
That's
for
a-
the most part, they have like the smooth does not have a pattern to it. Nick,
I'm always at home
and how would that apply?
because the turtle tucks inside the shell and all.
And crabs actually live in a hole. Crabs are not always at home. Go for it. I'll get back to you in a second. And so the idea that the crab has to go into a little crab hole, turtles don't crawl into a turtle hole. That'd be weird. They just have like a little spot where they just wander around. But crabs actually live into a little hole.
Or
And then I
it
think
is their home.
Some turtles, well, all turtles have a shell which they can't exit because they're connected to it.
Mhm.
Crabs, most crabs can exit, like hermits. They crawl out and they go to a new one.
and it would depend because ones like these can't exit their shells, but yes, the hermit ones definitely
And
can.
crabs don't have seams. Most don't,
That
but
work too.
turtles do because they have scutes.
All right, I can dig that. Carrington,
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh! What if turtles actually did go on the ground to like at
so
their
here
home?
where it says my eyelids are quick clamps, crabs don't really have eyelids either. I don't know if you knew this. Turtles actually have two eyelids because they actually have a clear eyelid that they can close, and then they have a normal eyelid they
The
can close.
membrane big one.
Do you know why they have a clear eyelid?
So I can go.
Eye
So they
protection and
So they
also
go in the
death.
water.
So they can see underwater. You
It's
are
like,
correct.
it's like a frog. They have a protective layer on their
It's-
eyes. So
They
It's like an
Nicely
alligator.
done.
Membrane.
You are correct. It is supposed to be a turtle. And I have a
like an
thing for you.
alligator.
Hang on.
Also,
Uh-huh.
almost all crabs
No, I didn't
live
know.
either in the ocean or by the ocean. Tortoises are in the turtle family,
Mhm.
so the rests within the dust applies to turtles because tortoises
You are
are
correct.
And
turtles.
also it says float.
I'm gonna come back to you guys in a second.
I want to go because
Home children. Sorry, I did a thing with the living children that you just don't get to know about. But back to here, we're going to take a look at a poem. So it's still on your first handout. Go to backside. There's one that says "Injust." We looked at this one once before when we were trying to figure out stanzas, and I had you guys go through and take a look at the stanzas, and there were 9 stanzas on it. Not on the camera, child. Out in the hallway.
Mr. Bell.
Out in the hallway. You can raise your hand out there. You've got a voice. There you go. So on this one, we're going to go through and read it. It is confusing the first time we go through and read it. So when we first get done, you'll probably have no idea what it's about. But then we're going to break it down to help you. Hi, Braylon. What's up?
Okay, right. Now can I go grab the paper by myself?
Grab the paper from where?
Your desk.
Right.
Oh, the one that you left over there I tried to get you to grab earlier? You already grabbed it, Tiger.
Bing bong.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Simpsons, she's the one I said you can't get till the end of class and hasn't changed. It's not the end of class yet, so that's why you can't come over here. I know. Learning is hard. All right.
It's a hard hat holiday.
Carrington, did you want to read?
Yes.
So we're going to break it into two halves. Because the stanzas are so short, we'll have stanzas 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
And then we'll do stanzas 5 through 9, because again, it's pretty short from there. Do I have a second group of 5 through? Works for me. Seth, you want to take that one?
Yes.
All right, so you'll do the first half, second half, and we'll break it down from there. Go for it, Carrington.
And just spring, when the world is mudlicious,
Mhm.
the little lame balloon man. What is these words?
Uh-huh.
Balloon man, whistle far and wee. And Eddie and Bill come running from marbles and
Piracies.
piracies, and it's spring.
One more.
When the world is puddle wonderful.
Thank you, Carrington. Go for it, Seth.
The queer old balloon man whistles far and wee. And
Betty Nisbel.
Betty Nisbel come dancing from hopscotch and jump rope, and it's spring, and the goat-footed balloon man whistles far and wee.
That's actually the pretty correct way to read it. So as I go through, here's the things I want you to find. Who's in it? When does it take place? Find that, and that's all I care about this first pass through.
Okay.
Find me who, find me when. I'll read it real quick, hang on. In just spring, when the world is mud luscious, the little lame balloon man whistles far and wee. And Eddie and Bill come running from marbles and piracies, and it's spring, when the world is puddle wonderful. The queer old balloon man whistles far and wee. And Betty and Isabel come dancing from hopscotch and jump rope, and it's spring, and the goat-footed balloon man whistles far and wee. Step 1, when does it take place?
Spring.
Where's your evidence?
Because it says in just
It's summer.
So when it says in just spring, and also the mud luscious, those are clues to tell you what part of spring. Beginning, middle, or end.
beginning.
Let's do it by a show of hands. How
No,
many of you guys-
middle.
Let's see. How many of you guys say this means beginning of spring? Middle of spring? End of spring? Oh, that's fine.
Middle.
So taking a look at this shows you tomorrow we're going to go through the poem.
Impact learning. Is it gonna be impact learning?
No, I think
Yes,
that's going to
we
read.
got it right.
There we go. Tomorrow we're going to find out what